my name is Allison Williams and my intended major is chemical engineering.
Hello, my name is Robert Butler and my intended major is nuclear engineering.
Hi, my name is Labannya, Samanta, and my intended major is biomedical engineering.
So our first year engineering project was to create a fountain that would fit inside of a 2 by 2 foot square. It had to include certain engineering aspects such as the water creating motion or sound, color change, or laminar flow. We decided to name our team Team Triple Flow because we only had 3 members. But overall this was a very fun experience. We will walk you through it right now.
From the very beginning, our idea was to incorporate spheres in our fountain designs. We wanted to have a pump at the bottom of a base that brought water up the central column into the sphere. We would drill 5 holes into the sphere and put different tubes in the holes to create laminar flow when the fountain was turned. We wanted to make the sphere out of concrete. We looked at the cost of the concrete and the T-glass material and realized we would be over our $40 budget, so we decided to brainstorm different designs.
As you can see, our second design is very different from our first one. We came up with the idea of 3 wooden spheres on the top, but they'd be like cut into half so the top would be open. We kind of came up with an idea to represent triple flow, so like 3 times the water comes out. We'd have 1 pump connected to a main column that would be connected to like a wooden base that would be connected to 3 different separate columns, and then these would be T-glass plates right over here, and the water would flow through the pump over here to these pipes in these columns and come out of the top. And our plan was to angle the hole on top in such a way that the water would fall from there onto the plates and maybe from the plates onto the next plate below it. That's why they're on 3 different heights. So the water would go from here to here to here and then back to the rectangular base. But the challenges we faced with this design was actually being able to find a 3D printer that would print the dimensions of this plate right here. Because a lot of the printers on campus that we had access to, mainly the one at DHL and Hunt, weren't big enough to print the size that we wanted to. And another challenge that we faced was how are we gonna bend the pipe over here or have smaller pipes over here that would connect to the main pipe and make the water flow out.
So our third design was very similar to our second design. We still incorporated the ideas of using spheres on separate wooden columns for this one, but in this case we decided to cut the spheres in half and have semi-spheres. For this one we decided to have hollow semi-spheres or bowls, and we would have them tilted so that the water pumped through the highest column would pour into each in separate bowl. The main issue for this one was finding the right materials for the bowls because a normal bowl, in a kitchen is too fragile to drill into, and the wooden spheres that we had were not hollow. So with this design in mind, we made a few slight improvements in order to create a better design. But now let me walk you through FEDD.
So as you can see, our final design had 2 towers instead of 3 like we had planned, because when we were doing our design and we looked at the dimensions, we saw that we could fit only 2 columns. We also decided to connect the 2 columns with a little bell in the middle so that when the water fell from the 2 columns onto the center, it would fall onto the bell. So how did your project do in like the FEDD competition?
So overall, we actually did a pretty good job. Most of the students and the observers really liked our design. Like, they really liked the aesthetic to it. A lot of them said they would have it in their own gardens back at home. Score-wise, judges, not all the judges went to us, so we didn't get the best score.
They didn't really comment on what we could have done better. We also didn't see the rubric for the scoring, but based on the reactions of the people who saw our fountain, we did okay.
Unfortunately, our bucket leaked. We had a large leak. We poured like a gallon of water in the bucket, and initially, and within about 20 minutes, all the water was on the table and on the floor. So we had to get a bunch of towels and paper towels and have a temporary seal for it. We found a silicone sealant from one of our friends, and we borrowed that, and we make a makeshift seal, which kind of worked, but we made it through.
That's good. What would you do differently if you had to do this entire process over again?
Personally, we would have pursued the initial design more and been more creative on what materials we could have used, because there are a lot of materials on campus that could have fit into our $40 budget.
Also, assembling the fountain and testing it in the first place. We should have done that a little bit sooner because we didn't see the leak in the bucket at first. And then when we put the actual amount of water in the bucket, we realized there was a leak. So I think that if we tested it a little bit earlier on, we would have found that and fixed it.
Okay. What advice do you give to upcoming freshmen about the FEDD project?
Definitely start early. You all will make a timeline in your E101 class. Follow that timeline.
Think outside the box. That's one of the best ways to get through this project. Think outside of the box. Be reasonable though, because money is an issue with this project. Communication. Don't be the one person that texts once a day and say a tiny bit of information that isn't really that useful. Make sure everyone chips in, because that can actually be bad for that one person who doesn't do any work. Overall, have fun with this. I mean, it's supposed to introduce you to the whole engineering spectrum here at NC State.